Welcome to Kate Was Here, an improvised storytelling experiment written and performed by Doug Banks and Kat Blackard. To support this and other surprise RPG experiences, head to patreon.com/omniversemedia.
So I'll say this is probably the morning of your third day on the path, and Martha is been expressing how she knows that they're getting closer, and if they're going where she thinks they're going, you're very, very close, because she thinks that they're about to cross into the Bohachi Nation, and once we get into that area, there's no, they're outlaws, so there's no law out there. If they can just avoid the local tribes and keep their heads down, wait for this to blow over, they'll probably make their way out through the Bohachi Nation towards like taking a shortcut through the Bohachi Nation as being the idea. And if there's like a canyon in there that she thinks that's where they're going to be hiding out, like a canyon that has like a little cave system. So she's seen it before. She knows that lately the Bohachi Nation had been, how to put it delicately, strongly encouraged to leave by the local, U.S. Army.
Of course.
So tensions might be a little high out there, but if the two of you just sort of keep your heads down, get the Vogel brothers, get out, shouldn't really be too much of a problem. But just she's making sure that you're aware of where they're about to go, because in this day and age, people might freak out at the idea of like heading out into the uncivilized wilds.
Sure.
You ever encountered any of the Indians before?
Not like you'd think. But I have no sympathy for white people taking their land.
I think your opinion might change if you ever came face to face with a war party, but that's
sure. That's their right.
She just kind of shrugs and continues on. So I'll say that you're both back on the trail doing your thing. How much of yourself have you talked about?
That's a good question. I was thinking, like, as I was just making these vague comments here, I was like, boy, you know what's great about the Old West is that everyone just assumes that if you're out there, you got some past. Yeah. So you don't going to talk about it. So I can be as vague as I need to be.
You can be. I just curious to know how much she knows about you is the thing.
Yeah. I guess I'll tell her that I'm living in Hill Valley with my uncle, and I come from back east, which can account for me being peculiar. That I can easily spin it like I didn't much care for the expectations of women out there, and I wanted to be my own person. So I don't know where her like vibe is aside from like cool frontier woman, but I'm probably come off as like being like overly educated but down to earth. And am very like complimentary to her, and like a quick study, and I have no tolerance for bullshit. Like, I'm not gonna complain. Like, I'm gonna work hard. If I have a question, I'm like, hey, I don't really know how to do this too well. Can you show me? And like, maybe she'll be annoyed with me, maybe she won't. But I'll pay attention, and I'll do a good job, and I'll.
You're actually surprised at how little annoyed she seems to be whenever you ask these questions, because like as I mentioned before, she seems to take a lot of. She seems to take a lot of pride in showing you how to do things. And from what she talked about, depends on how long you want to talk to her about her past.
Yeah.
She said that she had to raise 5 siblings when she was like 14 years old.
Wow.
So she had to take care of an entire family basically. So you get the sense that although she has quite the blue streak in her of cursing and what would otherwise be considered bad behavior, especially for a lady. There is this side of her that really does give a shit,
yeah,
and really has a strong charitable side, and you're not sure if that's because you're a woman or if that's just because you appear to be in need or what, but she's never lost patience with you. She's never tried to explain something in a way that made you feel like you were dumb.
Yeah, and I don't want to be needlessly quiet. I'm just sensitive about how I might like have to, in ways I wouldn't expect until they start to come out of my mouth, like adjust what I'm saying to make it make any kind of sense, and like doctor a storyline, for example, to the time period based on like having read like Huck Finn or something. Like that's the best I've got.
Right.
So so you know, I'm gonna try to be like as to, you know, I know that we're not necessarily writing in silence, but I'm also not going to be running at the mouth.
No, sure. I just didn't know if there was something that you were like for sure like.
I definitely want to know about her because I find her to be quite intriguing. So like learning that about her past is.
What do you want to know? And I'll try and summarize.
Sure. I'm curious what brought her out west.
Well, she was born in Missouri, and but she was the oldest of 2 brothers, 3 sisters, and right around the time she was 13, her family wanted to move, so they moved by wagon train. But on the way, her mom died. And when they finally arrived at their destination, which was going to be in Salt Lake City, her dad was trying to farm, but within a year, the farm wasn't doing very good. And less than a year later, he passed away. So from that point on, she was like, oh shit, you know, she had to take care of like, you know, her family. Couldn't farm, you know, and take care of all these kids at the same time. They're all, I mean, she was like 14. All of them are younger than her. She can't run a farm and take care of the kids at the same time.
Yeah.
So she packed them all up in the wagon, and they made their way over to Wyoming, where she heard that there was more work and maybe like more of a densely populated, you know, like pocket out there.
Yeah. Did she lose anybody?
She didn't lose any of her siblings, thankfully. But she did have to do a crazy amount of odd jobs, like dishwashing, cooking, waitress. She had to dance in a dance hall, you know. Was a like try to be a nurse for a little while. She even drove oxen in some time. Unfortunately, she also had to dip a little bit into prostitution just to make ends meet sometimes, but doesn't really look back on that as like a traumatic experience, but more of just like a shitty job that somebody had to do.
Yeah.
Especially with taking care of the kids. And right around the time she was like hitting 20 years old, like she was 21, 22, she started, she says that she was working as a scout for like some of the nearby U.S. Army forts and stuff, and would never get the credit, you know, for going out and saying, oh, we have Indians in this area, we have criminals in this area, and sort of leading people on, you know, hunting parties and stuff like that. Just any little bit she could do to make money on the side. She seems pretty well traveled outside of that. Like she gets a little vague about what happens to her siblings, but none of them had died. She just sort of like lost contact with them because that's when she really started drinking a lot. And I will say another thing that you notice that while you've been traveling, every time you stop for like a rest or if you want to drink from like a river or something like that, she's popping the cork on something and getting a few swigs. So she definitely seems alcoholic, but definitely a high functioning alcoholic.
Yeah.
So you get the sense that maybe once all the other children were of age, she kind of set out on her own, and they didn't really want to have much to do with her because of all the crazy shit she had done, and not clean up the act. Definitely not acting ladylike, not acting like a mom for sure. So maybe distancing themselves seems like the thing.
Well, I hope that she'd find that I am a good companion in that regard, in that, like, obviously, like, I have as foul a mouth as she does, and and have no expectations over who she should be, and no judgment, only interest. So, yeah,
But more specifically to your point, the reason why she's probably, like, out in California, she was just traveling, just on the road, trying to get more odd jobs and stuff, and that's when she met the man who's now her husband, and they decided they wanted to buy some land in Montana and maybe start an inn, like do like an innkeeping type thing. So like the land is there, they, you know, it's been bought, but now that she's got a husband, it's like, you know, she's kind of wondering out loud and floating the idea, very vaguely floating the idea in your direction of like, the idea of like her settling down now that she's like 33, 34, and she has property with an inn on it, but she's never there. You know, when I guess the question being like when does someone decide to settle down after doing so much shit?
I mean, like, but what's settling down though? Like, so you've got this property. It's still, it's still out here. It's still got like so much to do, and as an inn, it's a hub for all kinds of wayward folks. So, is having a home base really mean settling down? It seems like maybe just you've had a life filled with adventures is a strong word, but like you've been out there, you've done things. If you feel like you need to keep like moving to stay alive, well, that's one thing, but it sounds like you've actually set yourself up for a situation where you can both have the security of having like a grounded space, but then like the adventure comes to you, like all the wild things that keep you alive. If they're not coming to you in that place, then yeah, find them elsewhere. But it doesn't sound like as long as you and your husband have like an amicable relationship and you don't get stuck in something really abusive or something, like that sounds like a pretty sweet deal.
I just don't like the idea of being tied down for too long in one place with one man.
Well, I mean, okay.
I tend to get stir crazy. It's my problem.
I mean, one place with one person. I don't know. It's the West. Live differently. I mean, I assume that you couldn't possibly shack up with somebody who is
like
rigid.
A millionaire? Like, what do you mean?
Well, no, that is not what I mean. I mean, who's obviously, like you're a free spirit, and why would you, I'm just making an assumption here, but why would you shack up with somebody who like couldn't handle that, right? Like, who wasn't maybe a little bit of a free spirit themselves and could, like, grow from being around you.
Shacking up is almost out of necessity. It's not even as much of a freedom of choice. Like,
Well, you tolerate each other, right? I hope it's maybe more than tolerate.
Yeah, so far. I don't know. We'll have to see how things go. He's talking about children, and I don't know.
Yeah, is that something you want to do? Because, I know that's the expectation, but...
I'm not against it, but I'm not really for it either. I'm kind of floating along right now, trying to make a decision. That's all.
I am a staunch advocate for making the family you want, and maybe that means actually popping out babies, or maybe that just means surrounding yourself with people you like, and it doesn't have to be like a mom and dad and a kid, conventional family structures. It can be whoever comes along. You build that family the same way you build a ranch with hands and stuff, but like not hired help, but people who you care about, who have your back. And that's a it's a much better way to live than the way that all the boxes people force you into.
You have any family or man back east outside of your uncle?
Yeah, but not that I care to. They're fine, but they're not for me. I don't really exist there anymore because I'm not who they think I am.
Well, I think anyone would be lucky to have you as a little sister or daughter or wherever you may find yourself. And you notice that as your trip had been progressing and you've been getting more and more amicable with each other and more friendly, she does start to, like, there'll be, like, silent times and, she'll, like, have to point out something, and she'll she starts calling you little sis.
Oh.
Like, hey, little sis, watch out for this. Whatever. Just whatever.
That's so precious and good.
Yeah. Because she doesn't say it outright, but you do get the sense that she the longer she speaks with you and the more open that you've been and accepting her so readily is probably something that she's not used to hearing, because she is so outspoken and so vulgar compared to everyone else at this time. So there definitely is a kind of a warmness that starts to even, you know what I mean? Like, starts to reveal itself more and more, but still is I don't want to say unsure of herself, because she definitely has a lot of confidence.
I think it's more her new life she seems to have doubts about.
Yeah, like this trip, this trip is an excuse almost,
Huh.
Like
I'm here on her last ride.
Seemingly, but not. You're not really.
I don't believe that for a
like,
second.
She's not sure. It's like she's saying out loud, like, saying things like, if I'm going to settle down, I won't be able to do this no more. That kind of thing. And you're like, yeah, no, I'm not buying that. So I'll say later in the afternoon, you stopped, you had food, a little bit here and there, whatever. But she.
I like to think that also, like, on this trip I've been, like, whereas I don't think I'm a total heel. I feel like my sharp eyes, at the very least, like as soon as she's teaching me tracking stuff, I'll be like, okay, like I can be a fast learner because of my camera skills and all that other stuff.
Well,
like
and
my
with
stats.
the Girl Scout stuff that you did before.
Yeah.
So I'll say little bit later in the evening, not the evening. I want to get. It's not like you're not close to sundown just yet, but it's in the late afternoon. She says, "Okay, we should be getting close to this canyon pretty soon, and I know that people have hid out here before." And she did say that she had arrested the Vogel brothers before, but it's for petty stuff.
Uh-huh.
So as you're getting closer and closer to this thing, she starts to get a little bit more quiet, and she's keeping an eye out. She's always looking forward, like she's not like she's confused, but she's gone a little more quiet in the past half hour, 45 minutes than she's been for like the rest of the day. Not even the simple, hey, this way, or hey, look out for this, or whatever. So she seems to be kind of getting focused on what's coming up, and she starts to wonder out loud if there's any if there's any Indians in the area, because she's seen a lot of horse tracks that don't match up to what, like, she starts to follow, like you were following like a wagon, because the Vogel brothers had a wagon that they lit up stuff.
Yeah.
You're still following like wagon tracks, but you're seeing a lot of horse hoof prints starting to converge in this direction, like funneling inward towards where this canyon is. So she thinks that's a little odd. So just when things are starting to slope a little downward, that's going to lead into a canyon, you sort of crest this hill, and you're at the top of this hill, you start to see that it does lead down into a canyon.
Yeah.
More, or like a gulch, or like not like the Grand Canyon, but there's definitely like a little gorge that's in the into the ground, and might be a river down there. She says, hey, let's stay up top. Let's pull left. So you're going to pull left. You're not going to go in there. You're going to kind of stay at the top of the ridge and kind of get a view down in to see like what you can see before you walk blindly into an enclosed space.
Mm-hmm.
So as you're walking, or your horses are walking along it, it winds a bit, and sun is starting to go down. It's going to be sunset pretty soon, and she eventually says, hold up. So you both stop, and she points out there's just the faintest thin bit of smoke coming up from inside the canyon. It's really like, it's probably not out in the open. It might be under like a an outcropping or something. So it's just really thin. So she's gonna hop off the horse, and she's gonna like stake the reins down and start unpacking. She's got like a spyglass and a Sharps rifle, and she's gonna motion for you to start to follow her. You're gonna crouch down. You're gonna have to walk for a little bit to make sure you get there. But she's like leading the way,
and I'm being as sneaky as I can.
Mm-hmm. As you start making your way, you come to the edge, and you hear some voices, and it's not three voices. It's actually a few voices. And as you peek out over the edge, like you're behind like a little bit of a rock. Like a little flat rock type thing. You're both laying on your stomachs. She asks for the spyglass, and you hand it over, and she's just like, well, remember how I said the Vogel brothers are dumb, but they ain't stupid?
Yeah.
I think they're stupider than we thought. And she's going to hand you the spyglass and say, how many you count down there?
Well, let me, oh, sure, let's see, what am I doing here?
Sort of like an observation. Let's see what skills you got.
Clever.
Or unless you want to be careful, you want to carefully look. Or sneaky. Not sneaky. I wouldn't say sneaky necessarily.
I mean, it's this. Fate does not have a stat for this at all. Like in terms of just like smarts.
Let's go with I'll go with clever, just to keep it sort of like how we've been using clever before.
3.
Okay. You're looking down there, you can see that there's a group of men. You see the wagon that's down there. It seems like it's tucked away. There's like a tarp over it. You see a little campfire. It is under like an outcropping that's opposite from your like. It's so like if you're on one side of the gorge, the right side of the gorge has a overhang a bit. They're all in this overhang. They're all underneath it. There's like a small tent, and there's actually a couple small tents. Little campfire with like a kettle or something like a stew maybe cooking over it. You have the cart with a large tarp over it, and you count maybe like, if you're trying to be quick about it, not get too much attention, you're counting like at least 8, maybe between 8 to 12 people down
Jesus.
there. And you do, when you're looking really quick, you do see the 3 men. You see, because the one guy who was the plunger, crazy guy, he was a little bit more of the heavy set. And you had the skinny guy who was the one with the collecting everything in the bag, and the leader with the scar down his cheek. He's definitely down there, and it looks like there's an altercation happening with all the men down there. And you can, every once in a while, because you've heard the voices, but you start to hear them shouting and arguing. It's not like it's going to come to people drawing their guns, but one of the other men is who seems to be in charge of like the rest of the men is shoving Bart. Bart was the leader of the Vogel brothers, and they're in an argument, putting a finger in each other's faces. And so if you duck back out of sight,
there's maybe 12 people down there.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Martha says, well, the Vogel brothers are small time, and I'm wondering if the deputies were right, or if they decided to throw in with the Farrell gang, because the Farrell gang would be having to pass through here in order to get bust Richard Farrell out of prison. So I don't know what deal they struck up. If I had to guess by the look of things, it looks like maybe that train job that they pulled wasn't really approved by whoever's in charge of the Farrell gang right now. And if it was a way for them to think they can make some quick money before they can bust Richard out of jail, then I don't know. But it's not. This is a little more than I think we can both handle at the moment. I think maybe we should wait a bit, see if they move out, because if they're gonna go,
they split up. Yeah.
If they're gonna go bust Richard out of jail, they got to be on their way. They can't be here. It's another 2-3 days ride at least to get out of the Indian Territory and cross over in Nevada.
Yeah.
So if they ain't moving by sundown, they ain't gonna make it. So let's maybe see what they do.
Waiting and watching and planning is one of my specialties.
So at this point, I'll say the sun is on the horizon. It's about to go down, and the argument seems to have settled a bit. If every once in a while you get a little bit of a peek, you can eventually see that looks like most of the gang are hopping onto some horses.
Okay.
And they ride out.
Including the 3 folks that I'm...
No.
Okay.
Now, the 3 folks, the Vogel brothers, are left. And it looks like there's a quick talk between the Vogel brothers as the rest of the gang leaves. And Bart Vogel goes into the cart with the stolen goods. Looks like he grabs maybe like a billfold or a purse or something like that, maybe just a little bit of money. He hops onto his horse, talks to his brothers really quick, and then he heads out. And now you just got 2 Vogel brothers down there, and they're both kind of kicking the dirt angry. Like, you're getting the sense that maybe they didn't want to be left behind, but they're being left behind.
How big of a thing did it look like he took?
Just like a hand, like something that was in his hand. Like maybe it was a money clip. Or like a pouch of something. It was really small. It's just handheld. It could fit in his hand.
Right.
And it's money of some kind, most likely, because it was pulled from the loot cart.
Sure. Okay. Did I observe anything about the mannerisms of the discussions to go beyond what you've said so far? And also, how I observed anything about like their belongings or anything? Like, do they? I very much doubt this, but do I see any evidence of them having the dynamite that they brandished before? Or...
Give me another clever.
Okay.
And I'll even throw in a little bit with the spyglass being part of it. Now that there's only 2 of them left.
4.
So, what you can surmise from the exchanges that you've seen and like vaguely overheard, it does seem like that the Richard Farrell gang is leaving to go get him, because they like a large group like that loaded up, with their guns and everything, and sort of like left off in a huff. There clearly was a disagreement, but there was no shooting that happened, so it's not like there was a violent thing. It was more of just, you're getting the sense that it was a kind of like, you dumb idiots, you're bringing attention to us. Well, stay here and watch the loot. You're gonna fuck it up. So most of the gang left. With Bart Vogel, since he's the quote unquote in charge one of his brothers, he seemed to give them like a stern warning, and since he rode off, it appears that he maybe have gone into a different direction. So he may have been like headed back into town to buy something.
Yeah, I guess I'll ask Martha, like, does it seem like there's any reason to believe they'd be short on supplies or something? Like, this is a...
She says, well, if the rest of the gang pulled out in a hurry, then if they took most of the supplies they're going to need to make the trip, if Bart felt like he had to go into town to get something, that's kind of a risk to go back into town unless he's going somewhere else. I mean, He certainly ain't going back to San Silvestri. Could be going to Hayesville or somewhere else nearby. But if he's getting money, he plans on leaving Indian Territory, because he can't barter with that.
Sure. Well,
but now there's only two.
Yeah. What do you think about those are very good odds. You want to sneak down there and take him out quiet-like, tie him up, see if we can get information just rooting through their stuff, and maybe one of them wakes up. Maybe we can make him talk if we can do that without their brother riding back.
All right, sounds all right. You think you want to wait till they? Well,
what time of day is it?
The sun's about to set.
Okay.
Says you want to wait till they're catch them while they're sleeping, or do you think if there's only the two of them, we can go in there now, figure out where Bart's going, maybe still be able to wrangle him up? Because if we get the two of them now, tie him up, put him on the cart, we could get to their brother pretty quick if he doesn't get too far ahead, and we can collect the full bounty.
Certainly don't mind that plan one bit. Yeah, I think timing's of the essence here. If it seems like there's a chance of us getting down there without being sitting ducks, then yeah, let's do it. And how steep is this cane? I mean, is this something that we can like look over the edge of? Or...
You can look over the edge of it, but you certainly would not want to climb down it from
Gotcha.
the cliff face. You probably have to go into it.
Okay.
I mean, if you were really careful, I mean, it's not impossible to climb down. It's not like a smooth no holds thing.
Right.
But you wouldn't want to climb down right on top of them.
Mm-hmm.
But it's possible. Just seems unnecessarily risky if you were
Sure.
going to climb down from here. You could definitely feel like you could at least sneak in from the main thing, especially if you waited. But if you want to go now, it sort of depends on the risk versus reward here.
Yeah.
Like if you want to play it real safe, you could just wait a couple more hours until the middle of the night when it looks like they're probably asleep, then go in and take them down. But if you want to try and get all three,
Yeah, I want to try to get all three. I think, especially as the sun is setting,
Mhm.
and they probably feel relatively secure. Like, I think the odds are in our favor there, in terms of being able to pull this off. So, I think what I want to float by is like, sneaking in on foot in the shadows, and I can take out one of them very quietly, and the other one could get maybe a gun pulled on him, depending on where they are. Like, you could pull a gun on him, like, hold him, have him dead to rights, and then we could either like have a conversation or knock him out as needed.
you ever shoot a man?
Yeah,
You ever kill a man?
not sure.
Does it make you uncomfortable?
I don't think I have that luxury.
She nods for you to step back from the canyon back towards the horses. She won't say anything until you get back to the horses, just because you want to keep a low profile. When you get back to the horses, she goes, "All right, there's something I can do. If the idea keeps you a little bit squeamish, I got a special secret." She goes, have a look at this. And she's going to reach into the saddle. There looks like it was another rifle, but it's actually a long double-barreled shotgun. She's going to pull it out, thunk, open it up, and it's empty. And she's going to reach into the saddlebag, and she's going to pull out some shotgun shells.
Uh-huh.
But these look weird. These don't look like some of the other ones that you maybe have seen.
What you got there?
She goes, these are full of rock salt. She's going to put them in, thunk, click it back up, and she goes, now, this won't do diddly squat at a distance, but if you get in close, one of them will make a move, you just give them one, maybe 2 barrels, but you can start with just one, and it'll go through the clothes, go right on into the skin, but it won't do anything, none too serious.
Yeah.
But he don't know that.
Yeah.
And if my time on the road has taught me anything, is that you put a double-barreled scattergun at a man's pecker, he'll do pretty much anything you say. So
Sound advice.
Let's hope it won't come to that. But you got your 6 as a backup, right?
Sure do.
Okay. So
and my 10, which is my fingers.
So she'll really quick strap on. She's got like her revolver on her belt. She's gonna put the Sharps rifle like over her shoulder. You've got the shotgun. So she says, so now what do you feel more comfortable doing? You want to sneak down there? You want me to cover from up here? You want us to both go down there, or you want to be the one who stays up here?
It's a good question. I think it's tough because I know I can always use my perfect shot if I was in the surveillance state. But I think it's important for me to test my mettle a little bit more. So I'm going to go down there because I know that if Martha's watching me, I'll be in good hands. And if I step into a support role perpetually, I'm never going to be able to have the experience that I need to take action.
Okay. So you want her to stay? You want her to stay up on the ridge?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Now, Martha, I want to tell you something real quick. These gloves I've been wearing, they're a contraption. My uncle and I run experiments on electricity. And if you see any bright flashes that might surprise you, that's because I've incapacitated these fellas with a gadget.
The hell you say?
Yeah, I mean, I do a demo, but if I do it, then I lose a charge. I can only do it a few times. But it's a self-defense measure, and that's why I'm so good with my hands, because I've got a little bit of help.
All right, then. Just, I guess, it ain't gonna kill him, is it?
No. It's, but it is gonna fuck him up.
All right, well, be safe, little sister. I'm gonna be watching you. So she's gonna walk back towards the spot where you both were. Unless there was something else you wanted to say or do.
No.
She was gonna go get position.
That's it. She knows. There's nothing else I'm gonna pull out that I think is gonna be a surprise here. So
in fact, before she leaves, I'm gonna have her say that she's not gonna go to the exact same spot where you were, because you were kind of parallel to like where they were. She's gonna go a little even further down the canyon. Not very far, but just a little bit further in that direction, further away, like passing their little camp, so that in theory you would both be facing each other. Like when you come down the main entrance, she'll be behind them, because if they turn to face you, she's got them in the back of the head. Would be like the hope, you know. But also trying to account for any weird angles and stuff like that. So with that, if you go, you're gonna have to. It's probably at this point you might want to take your horse and go back, and if you want to leave your horse down at that end, or if you want to walk the entire way to keep both your horses there, it's whatever you want to do. This is up to you.
I would take her advice for being stealthy, but if it makes sense for me to take the horse, I'll take the horse, do it faster, get there quicker, and then proceed on foot at a safe distance.
Okay. So if you take your horse, back towards the entrance of the canyon, which isn't very far, but again, just for in terms of safety or speed or something like that. You get to the end of that canyon, and you can dismount.
Okay.
And you can stake the horse's reins into the ground just right there. And if you want to sneak in, you're gonna have to give me that sneak.
I'll give you that sneak. I rolled a 1.
Okay, well, as you start going in, you realize that your boots on these rocks are much louder than you thought they were. So you haven't given yourself up yet because there's a bit of a...
Right, they got distance.
There's a bit of a distance, and you can't even see them. You have to wind it a little bit. It's like a little bit of a wind, a couple bends in this canyon, but you're just going, oh, shit, okay. This is...
So I'm going to take my boots off real quick.
Okay.
And I'm going to... I'm sure the rocks don't feel great on my feet, but
they're not going to cut you.
Yeah. And I also consider anything else on my body that might be making noise.
I don't think there'd be much. Do you have your bag on you? Because what? So
I probably left the bag on the horse.
So just for references and everyone else's sake. So what's everything that you're carrying on you?
Everything that I'm carrying on me is, I have my 6-shooter.
Mm-hmm.
I've got the shotgun with the salt rounds.
Mm-hmm.
I have my gauntlets on. I have a vest, and in the vest I have tucked the Omni tool.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wearing a hat.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all the stuff I have on me.
Okay. All right. If you want to because you stopped, you took your boots off, and you're gonna go look something. Again, these rocks aren't gonna necessarily cut you because it looks like there may be even a tiny hand width bit of water that just slowly goes through this canyon. So I wouldn't even call it a creek or a river. It's nothing like that. It's just tiniest trickle of a stream goes down the middle of the canyon. You couldn't even drown in it if you were face down.
And is it dark yet?
Yes, the sun has gone down.
Okay.
Then you can see well enough with the moon and everything like that.
Do I have anything on me that's white? I guess
I don't think you would have.
Yeah. Okay. So cool. I don't know if this makes any sense, so hear me out here. But, I'm gonna use that trickle of the stream to, get my feet good and muddy. So they're,
just soft
softer, somewhat, cushioned against the rocks and everything else. And I'm gonna move as stealthily as possible. I'm gonna use every inch of the skills that I've learned from sneaking into facilities and other nefarious juvenile things.
So what I'll say is because you're being super cautious, trying to muddy your feet up so it sort of doesn't slap against any rocks or anything like that, and with a little bit of adrenaline kicking in because you're sneaking into a canyon with 2 outlaws at the other end holding a gun, so you're starting to realize this is a little more real. This is a pretty real moment. So I definitely don't want to screw up. So I'll add a little bit to your next sneak, but give me one more sneak, and depending on how good or bad this is, we'll see how far
this will be. The first sneak was the preliminary sneak, the lead up, and this is the it has to be good roll. Do I spend a fate point now or later?
According to the character sheet, if you spend a fate point now, you gain a +2 bonus to whatever you roll, or you could roll it now and say, oh shit, that was terrible, spend a fate point and you get to re-roll it, but then you have to take whatever.
I will spend a fate point now to add +2 to whatever I get.
Cool.
I got a 2, so I'm doing a 4.
Okay, you're feeling pretty good. You're feeling okay, I'm moving there. I don't think they can hear me. And you're feeling pretty confident that you can get pretty close before anything happens. So I'll say you wind down a couple of those bends. It's 2 or 3 bends, and as you're getting closer, you can hear a little bit of them talking, not loudly, they're not arguing, but just amongst themselves. So you're getting pretty close, and as you get to the final bend, you can start to see the glow on the canyon wall of the fire of their campfire. So okay, this is it. If I turn this corner, they're not going to be far. And in fact, I say, that if you turn this corner, there's maybe a good, maybe 50 maybe a good 50 feet before you would be at the campfire.
Invisible.
Well, yeah, like you would, like if you come around this corner, there's not, you don't think that they'll see you right away. There's maybe a couple hiding places, like a couple of boulders in there, maybe a small shrub here or there. So if you really want to get even closer, I would do another check. But if you, what I'm telling you is, if you come around this corner right now, it's not instantly, Metal Gear !
Holy shit! I rolled a natural 5.
Wow. Okay, so you.
That's the highest roll I've ever gotten.
Is it for anything that you've done the entire time?
I'm pretty sure.
Game?
Yeah.
We could go back and check, but
that
might be the highest natural roll that you've done.
Yeah.
So anyway, so here's what happens. So you peek around the corner, and both of them have their backs to you. You have an opportunity here. You see, like, there's like a small bit of shrubbery not too far from in between where they are and where you are.
There was a 6 at one point in time.
Oh, okay. There's a couple of boulders that you feel like you could get to. It depends on what kind of angle you want, what kind of advantage you want. But both of the men have their backs to you.
That's amazing. Well then.
I mean, you might even be able to walk right up without even. I mean, unless you were being all caution to the wind and ran up, I don't think they would notice. But if you wanted just to even keep creeping, you could probably creep. I'm not going to say right up to touch them, but I would say within 10 feet. I think if you were quiet about it, you could probably get within 10 feet of them before you would make your presence known.
Yeah, I want to do that, and since their backs are to me, I want to be at the threshold of what I feel safe at.
Mm-hmm.
And then, cock my shotgun and say, "Hands up, shitbirds."
So for you, it's not a pump, so you have to. You'll be clicking the hammer back.
Sure.
So now, I don't want to be completely retroactive, but is there anything between you and them, or you walked up pretty confidently, like
confidently?
Okay.
Because that's
I just want to
threatening in its own way.
Sure, I just want to be clear.
Yeah.
So you cock both hammers back. And you say,
"Hands up, shitbirds!"
And they spin, and they look, and they see that there's someone here with a shotgun, and the big one, the bigger guy, his hands immediately go up, and the skinny one, his hands slowly go up as he's trying to register like what's going on, and you can see the shifty eyes like looking around for anyone else.
And it ain't just me. So, eyes front. Now, and I'm gonna be walking forward. Where'd Bart go?
He went to go look for more firewood.
Yeah, sure he did. So, I don't want to have to start taking parts off of you to get the answers that I want. Tell you what. Why don't both of you lean yourselves up against canyon wall to your right? I'm gesturing with the shotgun.
Mm-hmm.
Hands on the wall. Don't move your fucking hands. And we're going to have us a nice little transaction here.
So they're going to slowly get up, and they're facing you the entire time, but they're going to shuffle over they're going to start to shuffle over to the side of the canyon wall. And the big one's like, he says, what do we tell Bart? And the other one just says, shut up. It's just like there's one of them is clearly the dumb one, and the other one's like the angry one. And as you move them over to the side, they're going to put their hands on the canyon wall. But the skinny one, he's going to keep like his head to the side, like with his eye, he's trying to watch you side-eyed from whatever. But so you got him up against the wall now.
Mm-hmm. Good boys. So tell me, you still got most of what you took from the train here?
Don't know what you're talking about, sir. We're just out here prospecting.
Don't fuck with me, asshole. I saw your fucking face.
I've never seen you before in my life. I don't know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm. Look, pal. We can do this the easy way or the hard way. Is there any length of rope in the area? Do I see any, like, what is available in the immediate vicinity that I could both perceive as threats if they come at me? I assume they probably got guns holstered.
Looks like there's either a rifle or a shotgun on the ground where one of them was sitting. It does look like they both have revolvers on their hips.
Yeah.
Other than that, you don't see any other weapons laying about. You see maybe a small shovel.
Yeah.
And looks like some coffee, like a coffee pot sitting on top of the fire. And some wooden crates a little bit here or there. Looks like it was used for sitting on. But certainly doesn't look like you don't see any of the dynamite laying out, especially close to the fire.
Okay.
And and then there's the 2 tents, which are closed, but then you have the cart with all the supposed stolen stuff is.
Without particularly looking at it, I nudge the rifle farther back, like the one on the ground. Just to get it further out of the way from them. And I'm keeping my eyes on them consistently, because I'm really worried about the big one, doing something smart, because he's totally got that look about him. And I want to hold the shotgun on the dumb one.
Okay.
And the skinny guy who is
giving you the side eye.
The most dangerous. When I come up behind, how many guns does he have on his side?
Just one.
Just one. Grab his 6-shooter out of his holster and fling it over my shoulder.
Okay. Do you want to be careful about that?
I want to be
quick about that? How do you want to do that?
I want to be quick about it. Yeah. I rolled a 3. You rolled a 2.
You got a 2. Okay, so this is what happens. You want to be quick, so you come up on him, and as he's sort of watching you, whatever, and you, much quicker than he was probably expecting, so you got the gun, and what do you do? Throw it over your shoulder away? Just whoosh, whatever. Okay, good.
I want to impress upon this big guy that this person who stalked up on him in the middle of the night is no one to be fucked with. And since I've got his brother, were they meant to be brothers?
Brothers. Yeah.
Since I've got his brother in a bind, I am going to take a gamble on forceful and knock the skinny guy out with the butt of the shotgun.
Damn, all right, that's good.
Now, this is tricky because my forceful is not one of my strong suits. It's a +1, and I got a 1.
Okay. Now let me roll against. Ha! Okay.
Tie.
So you hit him, and he stumbles to the ground in a lot of pain, but he's not knocked out.
Okay.
And what that'll do, I'm going to present that as an opportunity for big guy to attempt something. All right, you start to see him reach. So the skinny guy falls down. You hit him, bang! He's like, "Ow, you son of a bitch!" And he's not doing anything for a second. He's out. He's stunned, but he's in a lot of pain.
Yeah.
Big guy is going to turn away from the wall. He's going to start. He's not facing you, but he spins he might be about to run away. He's about to do something. So he doesn't look like he's about to attack you, but he looks like he's about to either run or something or whatever. So I'm going to leave because of the narrowness of this.
Yeah.
There's an opportunity here if you want to do anything. Otherwise, he looks like he's about to go somewhere, do something.
I'm going to roll a quick. Shit, I've already cocked the shotgun. So how to be I guess. Roll it quick just to spin around, having obviously hit his brother. Just say freeze, forcefully.
Because so just to clarify, with the double-barrel shotgun, you can either fire one or both. So if you want to do warning shot, you still have one in there.
Right.
I'm just putting it out there I'm not saying do that. I'm just saying, don't think you fire once and you're done. You basically have two.
Gotcha.
Unless you fire both at once.
Right.
So you're going to threaten him. To stop?
Yeah, freeze, motherfucker!
Okay, yeah, he freezes.
And I do another forceful to knock his brother the rest of the way out.
Okay.
As was my plan.
Okay, sure. He's on the ground. There's no resistance.
The result is 0. This is not good.
So what happens?
Not good at physical violence.
So you hit him. He's on the ground. He's like, "Oh, you son of a bitch!" He's on his back, holding it, holding his head. He's and he rolls over onto his side, and you have a good view of the side of his head. So I'd say wham! He hit him again, and he just yells in pain. Oh, sweet Jesus! And he's like, but because
turn around and face me.
So you hit him again.
Violence is terrible.
It's just it's that you rolled a 0. So
yeah,
this is
it's not good.
So this is an opportunity.
Also
oh my God! Big guy rolled a 0. All right, get this. So you hit him. Big guy draws his gun, and he's aiming it up into the air. But you swivel the gun back on him. I'm assuming I'm assuming that's what you do.
Yeah, obviously.
And
drop it, asshole.
Give me another forceful. He seems scared, so he's got the gun in the air.
3.
And I'm gonna roll. Let me roll. What would his be? All right, we're gonna do a flat roll for him against that intimidation.
What?
He drops it.
Kick it to the side.
He kicks it to the side.
Great. Now,
please, listen, young man. I don't know what you want. Just please stop hitting my brother. Just leave us alone.
Would you be a dear and tie your brother up for me?
Yes, sir. And he's gonna bumble his way over to one of the tents, and nearby he's gonna get some rope. And the brother on the ground is just like, you don't listen to him. This son of a bitch, we're gonna kill him.
You want me to put you all the way out, bud?
he's not acknowledging you, but he's in a world of hurt. So yeah, he'll
be quick about it.
He'll get some rope, and he'll come back over. He's gonna start to tie him up.
Good and tight. I will be checking your work.
Yeah, and the skinny guy's like, Sean, and he's like, his face is probably starting to swell up on the side. So like, Sean, what the same hell you doing? He goes, I'm sorry, just.
I have no problem killing you. Don't be an asshole.
And the guy on the ground is like, you full of shit. It's just completely.
Do you want to find out?
And big guy John is like, please, sir, just don't hurt him no more. I'm sorry. And he starts to tie him up. Yeah. And you hear calling down from the top of the canyon. Little sis, you need anything?
All good, big sis.
All right, then I'll come on down.
Yeah, you do that.
So she appears to be on her way down.
It's a family affair. I'm sure you understand.
I know, he's my brother. I don't. This guy. He's very scared, and he doesn't understand what's happening.
Too jumbled for witty repartee. Okie dokie. Well, so he ties him. I'm like,
and he'll put his hands back up when he's done.
Yep. And I like nudge the shotgun in motion that he should be like circling around, so we're gonna sort of change places. So I'm gonna get behind his brother and test the knots real quick and make sure it's good and like legit.
Sure.
I'm like, okay, so that's great. Now how about you tell me, what did Bert take with him?
Bart.
What did Bart take with him in that little bag that he had in his hand?
Sir, I swear, I think it was just a money clip. He probably took $20. I think I think that's all. Just please.
Ain't that a peach? Okay. Well, fellas, we're gonna hang out for a little bit, just for a moment, and I thank you for your cooperation. You've been so kind.
He's like, are you with the U.S. Marshals? Like, this guy is very scared. He's got the shotgun pointed at him. He doesn't know what's going on.
I believe that's classified information.
Oh Lord! And the skinny guy on the ground is just like, this fella ain't shit. He's taking you for a ride, John. You just charge him. You charge him, and you get that scatter gun.
I'm gonna take you both for a ride, and if they
John doesn't look like he's gonna do anything. He's just
But, sir, I promise, if your brother charges me, he's gonna get a belly full of shot.
So the big guy
I say with sinister enthusiasm.
So you can hold there for a bit. Eventually Martha comes up. She's got the rifle up and ready just in case anything happens. So she says, well, if it ain't the Vogel brothers. And John looks shocked to see her, and he's like, oh Lord, no, please. And then skinny guy on the ground, he's like trying to roll over to get a sense, and once he sees that it's Martha, he says, oh shit, and he just collapses like exhausted into the ground, just kind of gives up. He's just kind of like, he didn't sign up for this. She says, now, how did you two get mixed up with the Richard Farrell gang? And the skinny guy on the ground is just like, I want my lawyer.
You know any lawyers out here, Martha? Out here in the middle of nowhere?
In fact, I don't know of no law out here in the middle of nowhere.
Interesting. It's like we could do anything we wanted to and just get away with it.
John, so big guy John, he falls to his knees and he's putting his hands together and he's just like, "What? Just tell us what you want. Just please don't. I don't want to see my brother hurt no more. Just what do you want? You want the wagon? You can take the wagon. I won't stop you. Just leave him alone."
Well, Martha, what say we get these boys both in a matching pair of rope bondage.
She says, all right, you do that. I'll keep an eye on this big fella. So she's got her gun trained on him.
Okay. I did get my my rope tying merit badge, so let's put that to work here.
Okay.
And get him strung up nicely. So, so cool. So we've got them. Now they're incapacitated. The guns I've collected and put them in the wagon. And
how just so we're in specifics, how
Yes.
do you want to bind them? Like, are you trying to like hog tie them where they're like their hands and feet are bound so they can't even move, because you're gonna have to move them at some point.
I need them to be able to walk.
So so hands behind the back.
Yeah, hands
okay.
behind the back.
I just want to be clear.
Enough, yeah. And so then I can start going through the wagon and ask me like, so where's the loot from the train robbery?
They're not. They don't talk about this, because if you're starting to go through the wagon, as soon as you flip open the tarp on the wagon, you see this is the loot from the train robbery.
Oh, okay.
Ton of stuff.
Wow. Okay.
Looks like that it wasn't just passengers that they robbed, but maybe some of the back carriages and stuff.
Yeah.
Looks like there's lock boxes and stuff that you can't open yet. They probably have to pick them open or something like that. There's a few lock boxes, lots of billfolds. Like there's like a flour sack that's full of like necklaces and rings and that sort of thing.
Yeah. Cool. Well, do we have any big knives, like hunting knives?
I'm sure Margaret's got one.
Yeah. When do you folks think that Bart's gonna be back?
Skinny guy says, well, with any luck, he'll be back any second, and you both gonna be sorry. And the big guys are like, I don't know. I honestly, I don't know.
Martha, can I see your knife, please?
I said, sure thing. So she's gonna just like, it was like on the back of her belt.
Yeah.
She
Make a
hands it
show
over.
of it, make sure like it glints in the moonlight or in the firelight and everything. And I go behind Skinny Guy, and his wrists are tied up, but I grab one of his fingers and press the blade of the knife like against it and be like, "You have 10 fingers, I assume." And
he would, yeah.
so that's 10 chances to tell me the truth, tell me exactly what you know, and have me believe you is the most important thing.
So give me, as for an intimidation, give me a forceful. Unless this, well, I mean, you wouldn't want to make it flashy because you're not very good at flashy. But so I'd say, yeah, give me a forceful for your attitude here.
4. I'm rolling very well today.
He's just, so he'll grit his teeth and just like, he's rode into Hayesville. He'll be back tomorrow. God damn.
Aren't you so glad? You didn't lose a trigger finger. That's great. That's great. I ruffle his hair. So good. Well,
He spits. Not at you, because he's face down in the dirt.
Yeah. What do you think, Martha? Think we should plan a little ambush for Bart coming back from Hayesville?
Could do that. That is, if you don't mind spending the night here. Maybe the next morning we could wait and see if he comes back, or we could load them up now and try and get hot on his trail before he even makes it to Hayesville.
That's intriguing. Intriguing indeed.
Might even turn in the bounty at Hayesville.
Might even. That's a good point. Yeah. I love that plan. Let's do it. 3 birds, 1 stone.
So out of scene, what do you think the plan is now? You want to load up both these dudes in the wagon, because it's certainly you could.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming the wagon. They probably, the wagon is not attached to any horses at present, but there are 2 horses. There's a horse for each of them.
Great.
So if you want to hitch the horses up to the wagon, that'd be an easy way to get them out.
And could we hitch then the wagon up to 4 horses, including ours, or we don't have the gear for that?
It wouldn't have the gear for that.
Okay. I'll have to string them up.
But I don't think you'd want to do that anyway. I mean, and the horses could easily follow. Like you could just have like a rope attached and have them follow along.
That's true. I suppose.
Like if you were riding if you were riding your horse and you had a rope attached to Martha's horse, Martha could drive the carriage or the buckboard.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about where to put the fellas to make sure that our eyes are on them constantly.
Well, if you rode behind, or if you want to drive the carriage or the buckboard.
So ride behind, but put there in the carriage, and I've got my eyes on them, or like.
Like I'm saying, do you want to drive the cart?
I want Martha to drive the cart. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know about cart driving yet.
Yeah,
this is not a safe space to learn.
So if she drives the cart, which she has many years' experience doing,
yeah,
you could follow behind on your horse, holding on to Martha's horse, watching them from behind.
Cool. Sounds good.
Okay. So yeah, you can load up. And then the plan is intercept Bart or find him in Hayesville.
I think it depends on the timeline, I suppose, because how long's it been since he had
Hayesville's not a big town.
Right.
It's like Hill Valley size. Like
Sure.
maybe a little bit bigger than Hill Valley.
And how far away is it from here?
Might be just a couple hours.
Okay, so it's been like maybe a couple hours. So he's probably in Hayesville, right?
If he's not, he's probably close to Hayesville. Because from the time he left to sundown was maybe just 20 minutes, and from the time that sundown happened to you drawing on them with the shotgun, maybe another 20 to 30 minutes. So,
okay.
So he's maybe at this point. This whole exchange was only really a few minutes. So he's probably halfway to Hayesville by now.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, let's see him in Hayesville. I think that seems like the least trepidatious, safest way. I mean, also, like, we've got a wagon with us now. Catching up with him will be noisy. If we have, if it was just us on the horses, great. But I don't trust these guys to be left alone. Like, I mean, I guess in theory we could hog tie them permanently, but that's.
I mean, if you have these guys tied up, and you probably hog tie them once they're in the wagon because you don't want them jumping out and causing trouble. I mean, at least Martha would probably insist on that. You could just take your time getting to Hayesville, and if you want to find them there, so you wouldn't have to worry about sneaking up on them or nothing like that.
Sounds good. And we'll hog tie him, gag him, and since it's nighttime, does this wagon have like a lantern on it at all, or I guess it's probably bad if we're going through.
It can on the side. This doesn't have it. It's not a covered wagon. It's just like the buckboard wagon. So it's really not very big, but it's definitely enough to fit all this money and stuff and those two guys.
Okay. Yeah. Is it? How's the moon tonight?
The moon. I'll say it's like half.
Okay.
Half moon. So there's enough moonlight to see. But again, this is however you want to do this.
Enough moonlight to see if like. I just want it to be plainly obvious.
You're not going to fall into a canyon.
and also that these assholes aren't gonna, be able to jump out of this wagon without me knowing or having a hard time chasing them down. For that
right.
matter. Granted, like rolling, but they could roll out roll off into a ditch or something to be.
You feel pretty confident about that. I mean,
sounds good.
I think the only thing that would worry you is if you did get into a one-on-one fight with one of them, like in the dark, it wouldn't be impossible. It'd just be really difficult.
Yeah,
but their hands are tied, and they're going to be in this wagon. And I think Martha's going to want a hog time anyway.
Yeah,
so.
well, I want a hog time anyway. So great. Okay, this is good.
So I guess you and Martha can tear down a little bit of the camp if you want to search for more things. Do you want to do it? You want to search for anything, or you want to just move on?
I mean, like, I don't want to leave a stone unturned. So I was thinking about their tents and everything, and just seeing like if it's all survival gear that no one needs, great, leave it. Like, I mean, but like but if it's anything that appears to be like shit from the train heist, like if one of them like pocketed Doc's watch or something like that, or seems like they pocketed someone else's watch.
Doc's watch was taken, but you'd have to search the rest of the stuff to loot if you wanted to try and find it.
It's not a huge priority,
right.
But basically, like if anything fancy appears to be in their tents or other, like
give me another clever and let's see if you find anything.
Sure thing.
Unless you want to search fast, in which case do it quick. But.
No, we're fine. We're fine. If we're going to town, we're fine. Clever is 3, and I rolled a 4.
Okay, you do find, away from the fire, you do find a box of dynamite.
Wow.
The plunger is not hooked into it, but the plunger is nearby if was something.
I don't know what dynamite's supposed to smell like, but does it smell like chemical? Like if I open up the top, does it, like, there's clearly, like, chemical...
Is there something going on?
Yeah.
Yes, but whether or not... you don't know how this all ties together, if it... Maybe it wasn't even hooked up. Maybe it was whatever. You don't know. But the dynamite in this crate appears to be dynamite.
Huh. Okay. I say we leave the dynamite. I don't want that around me.
That's fair enough. And I'll say, in addition to dynamite in the plunger, you found a couple more, just like a couple more leftover pistols, maybe one more rifle,
cool.
And whatever cans of food and a little bit of survival, like cans of beans and maybe some like peppermint candies, and like that's it. Well, in addition to like cigarettes and stuff, of course. But
Cool.
I know you don't want that.
I'll go ahead and suck on a peppermint stick while I'm riding on this horse, but otherwise I can leave everything, like maybe anybody passing through, be they the local nation or whomever, like...
Find dynamite, and the weapons, you taking weapons, you leaving weapons?
I'll take the weapons, like have them, like in the saddlebags and stuff.
Okay. And this is, in theory, it might be stuff that, I don't know how the law would work, but if you found it, maybe you could sell it.
In theory, yeah. I mean, it's spoils of a heist, yeah. If I wanted to, I don't know if Martha's gonna be any like no, we should take the dynamite. I'd be like, I don't know. Like, I mean,
she's not insistent
sure, it'll
on
fetch a nice price, but I'm not.
She's not insistent on the dynamite.
Yeah.
She's more worried about just getting to Hayesville.
Dynamite's a liability.
Mm-hmm. So, you can load them up. You can tear down the campfire. You can leave everything else as is, and you can start making your way back. And you're going to be following on your horse, leading Martha's horse.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So yeah, you're just on the trail, making your way.
IRL, I miss hanging out with horses, and this is really nice imagining it.
So it's a pretty smooth thing. Those guys are obviously quiet. Martha's leading the way. It just seems nice and quiet. It's only going to be like maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours before you get there. Is there anything you wanted to do or say? Anything you want?
I want to just keep really vigilant about this, and be aware of not just these fellas, but the possibility of maybe an ambush from the local First Nation, and keep our wits about us for this hopefully short jaunt into a small town where we will see where Bart is. Thanks for listening to Kate Was Here. To support this and other surprise RPG experiences, head to patreon.com/omniverse media.